Ever since I was little, I've had a camera around. Even back from when my mom was pregnant, from when my dad went overseas. As we were growing up, they would send tapes to dad as he was fighting in Iraq and whatnot.
This is Callie, my daughter, Jordan, my son. 9.5, 10 months old. And they started walking while I was away.
Supporting the coalition against terrorism.
I was a 15-year-old and I went to the movies and saw The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I walked into that cinema, someone who loved film, and then left that cinema as someone who wanted to do this for the rest of my life. I'm Jordan Donahue and I'm 22 and I just love making movies. When I was in high school, I really dove deep into filmmaking, so I wanted to make big movies. School is a place, specifically high school, where everyone's figuring themselves out and you're figuring yourself out. I felt quite condemned for having these big dreams, and I'll get beat down, sometimes physically, for the things that I love. I really found quickly that school probably wasn't for me, and my parents were probably sick of being called into the principal's office. So I transitioned as a 16-year-old into film school, and I was introduced to a world like no other. I had lecturers who were actively participating in film industries. I was in a room of like-minded people with like-minded pursuits, but I was also introduced to the big wide world, the big sea as a little fish, and unfortunately, I was reminded quite often that I was the little fish as a 16-year-old. When you get more independence and you experience freedom, it's like, of course I'm gonna go try new things. I love to go out and party and I do late nights. It was just a mental time for me. My pursuit was no longer filmmaking, it was getting easy grades at film school and then getting wasted on the weekend. I pushed everyone I loved away because I was trying to be somebody. Nothing that I was grabbing onto was substantial. That person would never make it to filmmaking and living out his purpose. I realized that my habits that I was stuck to were just a symptom of what I prioritized. I took the step after film school and was like, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna be a freelance videographer. I got a camera and printed out some business cards and went and knocked on all these doors, and very quickly I got deflated because I had no idea. But I just realized I hadn't done the reps. I'm a big believer now in fish out of water experiences, so I knew that that little fish had to get back into a big ocean and to learn so much more and put what he knew to work. Think bigger, think unknown. I jumped onto the internet and I started looking for remote videography and video editor roles. And then I stumbled upon this role, which was creative director. Now that word director excited me. I ended up getting an interview. I also told them that I was about 5 years older than I actually am, but details. And I ended up thankfully getting this job. And it was the most phenomenal time, but I fell back into getting comfortable. I was working a 9 to 5, working for someone, and really the creativity was just kind of not there anymore. I just became a churn machine making content. But a friend of mine that I had just recently met came up to me and he's like, Jordan, I just had the most hectic dream. We start a creative agency, but the only way I can do it is with you. So I was like, with all the experience I have now, maybe I've done enough reps. So I thought about it and then I just quit my job. I think there's almost something beautiful in putting everything you have into something because there's no turning back. My friend and I went around and we knocked on doors. This one older gentleman with a small business said, show me what you've done. So I showed him some of the work that I had done over the last 6 years and he was like, let's do it. And we made our first paycheck. We realized $500 doesn't go very far when you got to split it 2 ways and then pay rent. We realized we needed to work harder, but we were all in. We encountered challenges, one of the recurring challenges being my age. People ask me, aren't you 20 or 22? And I am. I'm 22 and I run a business. And thinking back, it was the same story with my principal. It was the same story with some of the people in film school. The kid that I was always called who didn't know anything. You're so young, you don't know anything. I think the best thing about being 22 and reminded that you don't know anything is the fact that I don't. It's so awesome to be able to say that we did almost $200,000 in our first year, and to have built systems and processes and have phenomenal reviews, and now working with some top tier clients like AFL, and I'm directing a shoot with Caterpillar at the end of this week. So it's absolutely mind-blowing to see where we are today from such humble beginnings. I can just continue to be curious, and when faced with challenges, it's an opportunity to learn. And from there, the journey informs the destination.